Alright, hello third grade, happy Friday. So today we're going to be finding equivalent fractions using number lines. Remember, equivalent fractions are equal fractions. They measure the same thing, but they have different numerators and denominators. So they look different, but they measure the same thing. So our equivalent fractions are at the same place on the number line. So they should be right on top and below each other. So we can see 2/8 and 1/4. There's one right here and then there's one right here. They're equivalent. They're right by each other. 3/8 isn't equivalent with anything divided into 4, but 4/8 and 2/4, those are equivalent, and 6/8 and 3/4 are equivalent. And we can tell because they're right on top or below each other on the number line. So here, there's multiple ones that we see are equivalent here. 2/8 and 1/4, just like we went over, 4/8 and 2/4, and 6/8 and 3/4. So remember, equivalent fractions are at the same place between 0 and 1 on the number line. So we can find them easily by looking to see if they're in the same place. So let's do some examples together. So here they're going to be asking us to write the equivalent fractions from 0 to 1. So the first thing I'm going to do is see these are divided into 4 equal parts, and this number line is divided into 6 equal parts from 0 to 1. And I can pick which one. So I'm just going to pick 2/4 right here and 3/6 because I see that they are at the same point on the number line. 1/4 isn't by anything, neither is 3/4. So 2/4 and 3/6 at the same point on the number line, that means they are equivalent. They look different, but they're measuring the same thing. So now they're asking us to do the same thing here. So they're saying, what are two equivalent fractions between 0 and 1? And just like in our example, there could be more than one equivalent fraction. So we can start by noticing this one's divided into 4 equal parts. We can see the 4 at the bottom, which means there's 4 equal parts that make up the whole. When I look at the denominator here, there's 8 equal parts that make up the whole, 0 to 1. So remember, they are going to be different numbers, but they're going to be measuring the same. So they should be right below. So I can look here, 3/4 has 6/8. This number is right below. They're measuring the same thing, but they look different. So 3/4 and 6/8 are equivalent fractions. All right, let's do one more together. So we have our top line, which is divided into 6 equal parts from 0 to 1, and our bottom line is divided into 3 equal parts from 0 to 1. I can tell because of the denominators. So I'm going to go with right here, 2/6 and 1/3. They're right by each other. They're measuring the same thing. So 2/6 and 1/3. And just to bring back what we talked about at the beginning of the week, how can I know they're equivalent? I can use my multiplication and division. So when I'm looking here, to get from 1 to 2, I multiply 1 by 2. So 1 times 2 is 2, and whatever I do to my numerator, I do to my denominator. 3 times 2 is 6. So even when I do my multiplication or division, I can always check my answer. I can also reverse it and do it the other way. 2 divided by 2 gives us 1, so I divided the numerator by 2, so now I need to divide the denominator by 2. 6 divided by 2 also gives us 3, so it goes back and forth. So remember to take your time, and you can always find your equivalent fractions on a number line because they're going to be at the same place on the line. And then if you're still uncertain, you can always use your division or your multiplication, whatever you do to the denominator and the numerator, you have to do it to both of them and see, and then that will help to show that they're equivalent. All right, have fun, and I will see you next week. Bye, third grade.